Gary Salo, Golden Motor Canada. This is the proper orientation of the washers and the nut on the axle on the 901 or Magic Pi wheels. You can see it's the flat washer, then the tab washer, and then the nut. Sometimes when you receive the wheels, unfortunately the washers and nuts are in the wrong order. You can see the tab washers on the inside. Here you could just change them around easily. But on the side with the wire, if they're in the wrong order like this one, you would have to do a little more work. Because when you take them off and you slide them down the wire, they end up getting hung up on the plug and you can't remove them to switch them around. Here you can see you can pull the phase wires through, but you still can't get past the plug. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. You can see the wire that's inside the plug has a little tab sticking out, and this prevents the wire from being pulled back through the plug. Well, you have to push that little tab down to be able to pull it through. And you can see by looking in the end of the plug, there's a little bit of a wider side on one side. That's the side with the tab. And in this picture you can see the tabs inside the plug preventing it from pulling through. So before you start, it's a good idea to take a nice clear picture like this one, and you can see the different colored wires and the orientation they're in. That way when you go to put it back together, you can get all the wires in the right order. You can always refer back to that picture. Now here you can see I've taken a screwdriver and I'm just pushing on that bent tab, and at the same time I'm pushing the pin down, and you can see the pin is sliding through. The first two went quite easily. This one here is getting hung up. You can see I bent the pin a bit and the tab is still there. So here I'm going to just move on to the next two, get that done, get all the easy ones done first. That one's done. So that's 3 done there. And you can see how easily these go down. So I have 4 done. Now I'm playing back with the one that was caught, and you can see that right there I got it. So now I pushed all 5 pins through. It only took a few seconds. It's a very easy process. And now I can pull the plug off, and there's the 5 bare wires. Now the wires themselves, where I bent those tabs down, it's a good idea if you can get your fingernail in there or a little knife or something, and you can bend those pins, bend those tabs back out. So when you push the pin back through the plug, it'll prevent it from sliding out again when you plug the plug back together again. So I'm just working my way through each one here, bending the little tabs out again. You can see how I've got them out. It's good to get them out a little ways so that they get caught, but don't bend them too far. You don't want to break them off. So I only bent 3 of them there, and I do fix the other ones up again off camera, but here I'm sliding the washers off, and now I've got them in the right orientation. I've fixed all those tabs so they're all bent out properly, and I'm sliding them back on. The first washer to go back on is the flat washer. It's a little bit of a struggle to fit all the wires through at once, but it does fit. So there we go, there's the flat washer. The next one is the tab washer with the tab pointed to the inside. That way when you put it up against the dropouts of the frame of the bike, the tab will fit in the slot and it'll prevent the wheel from spinning. And then you put the nut on. So now they're in the proper order. And now it's a matter of putting the pins back into the plug properly. So it's always a good idea at this point to go back to your picture, make sure you get them all in the right order. So clockwise, I'm going to be going red, yellow, green, blue, and black, starting with the red one. So the bent out tab goes in the wider open area of the slot, and as you push it in, you can hear it click. And you can pull back on it and you can feel that it's in place and it won't come back out. As you push each one in, you want to make sure that you give it a little tug just to make sure it's in there good and it won't come back out. Because when you put the plug in again, when you put it together, the wires may back out and you won't have a connection, and you'll be wondering what's going on, why it's not working. Probably one of these pins slid back out on you, so you got to make sure that they're in there good. They all slide in quite easily. You can see the blue one here I'm having a little trouble with because it's a very thin slot that you're trying to aim that pin in, but eventually if you wiggle it around enough you'll find it. And there it goes in now. And now the last one is the black pin. It's back in. So that's it. Now the 5 pins are back in the hall sensor plug. So now you can see that the hall sensor plug is on the end. I've got all the nuts in the right orientation, the flat one, then the tabbed, then the washer, flat washer, tabbed washer, and then the nut. You can see here that one of the pins is bent. This is the one I was having trouble with before. So it's just a matter of putting the screwdriver in there, bending it back in place a bit. And when you look at it, you can see they're all nice and straight. And the first time you put the plug back together again, be careful so that you get it in nice and tight and everything lines up properly. And now you can see I have all the nuts back in the proper order. Gary Salo, Gold Motor Canada.